అంటే పండగ చేసుకొని listen. Today topic is we'll start with MBC. We'll start with what? MBC. See, most of the guys are Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday absent because the exam will be on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday notes. You please cross check. I'll give one more day tomorrow. So today some people wait for the interview also. Fine. Monday definitely will start the exam. Monday you take the exam better. And who are something like pending, you try to prepare the topics. And today topic is what? MVC. Model view controller guys, we have the MVC concept model view controller. MVC full form is what? Model view controller. See guys, model view controller, the form data so in the MVC model is there, view is there and what? Controller is there. See model means what? The form data will be stored into what class guys here? Model class. Form data will be stored in what? Model class. See in REST APIs, we are building the services. We are building the service will take the input which format? JSON, give the output which format? JSON. In REST APIs, we will take the input in JSON format, output is also what format? JSON format. What format? JSON format. Input is JSON and output is also what? JSON. That is MVC. Sorry, what you can say here? REST. And REST will handle the HTTP status code and HTTP operations. REST operations we have get, post, put, delete and all. Patch and all. So backend we are building the REST APIs, but front end the REST APIs are consumed by what? React. So like front end and back end is coupled or decoupled? Decoupled. So real time the standard is the only standard. MVC is not a standard. Because MVC will combine the both view layer and the service layer. Both will be combined. Like operations are combined and view layer is what? Combined in single project. For a single project you will combine what? Both. In a single project you will combine the views. The project contains the views, the project contains services, the project contains everything. One project contains everything, guys. But see, if you take the Amazon, Flipkart, and BookMyShow applications, everything is there in a single project. It is not at all what good process. See, in 2005, that time we are working on what MVC concept. That time application users are less users, or more users are less users. 2005, 2000 year we are working for MVC because that time is what application users are more, application users are less, application users are less. That time MVC working fine. But these days everything is what even small kids, second class kids, they are using what laptop, they are using applications like they are using LMS portals and they are using college like school websites and to get all the materials and all. That's what guys. And here MVC means what? Just will combine it will couple the view layer and the service layer both combined. So rest means what? Decouple the front end and what? Back end. Back end we are building using what? REST API. Someone will ask the first question, guys. What is the difference between MVC and REST? MVC means what? MVC stands for model view controller, which combines the both view layer and what services. Both will be coupled together. And REST is a representational state transfer. In REST, decouple the front end and what back end. Back end is what REST APIs. Front end is what React. But MVC front end back end is a completely single project. Completely single project. The project itself contains the front end views are there. Back end what? REST service is also available. They're not REST services, logics are available, right? Exactly. Yes, MVC full form is what? Model. MVC, model view controller. Yeah, model view controller, we have the data like this. M stands for what? Model, B stands for what? View, C stands for what? Controller. Model view controller, okay. So it will couple the both front end and what? It will couple what? It will couple the both what? Both front end and what? Front end and what back end, right? We'll cover the both front end and back end, guys. Like single project is what project, guys? Single project. But REST APIs are what coupling a decoupled and decoupled. See, guys, in REST controller we are using as usual at the rate in REST controller we have the annotation is what at the rate REST controller, right? But here in MVC to represent the controller we have the annotation at the rate controller. At the rate what controller. In MVC we have the at-the-rate controller, but in REST we have at-the-rate what? REST controller. At-the-rate controller is there and at-the-rate what? Service is there and at-the-rate what? Repository is there, right? As usual, these three annotations are common. So you create the today one example like product application. You take the product project, product MVC project like that. You take the controller layer, you take the service layer, and you take the repository layer. Product controller, product service, and product repository. You please auto work these all the layers into one into another. Sir, create the project is what? MVC project. MVC nothing, just is combine both view layer and what service layer. Services and the view both are what combined. So you take the three classes, which is like product controller. You can take product project you are working, so that you can go for the how many classes we have to write among product controller. Product controller, you please make the annotation is what at the rate REST controller, at the rate controller, at the rate controller we can use annotation. There is no REST controller like at the rate what controller. At the rate controller we can use and at the rate service we can use, at the rate what repository we can use. All of you create the project and you please make the code ready. We got it done? Good. Project setup. Sir, how many dependencies we have to create, sir? See, in a REST API, how many dependencies we created? Tell me here. Web dependency required as usual. Web dependency to get the support of MVC, support of servers, support of what? Tomcat server, right? Lombok is definitely required to generate what setters and getters. Third is what? Data JP definitely required to connect with what database to the operation. Fourth one is what, guys? Database. Fourth one is what? Database. Fourth one is a database base. What database you want to use? Tell me. I'll give the three options with you: H2 database, MySQL database, Oracle database. Which database you want? You better to select the dependency MySQL dependency. I'll tell you how to download MySQL dependency, MySQL, all the information we discuss about MySQL. So this project, you please work with what MySQL database. What database here? MySQL database. Nothing else. What the properties we need to change? Driver class name, username, password, URL, dialect class, and what? DDL auto property, something like that. Remaining any code change required? No. Because you are not going to create a connection between the, project to what? Database, right? The connection is what? Automatically created. See guys, the dependency you create, Lombok dependency you create, data JP dependency required, and what? Database, what database is here? MySQL. If you want to add the validation dependency you can add. But dependency in validation. Next one is what is here? DevTools dependency you can add for the auto reload purpose. I think last project how many dependencies you added? 6 or? 6 dependencies you add like this. How many dependencies? 8 dependencies you add like this. Total 6 dependencies you add. See guys, but MVC's full form is what? Model, view, control. It means view layer is also there, right? The view layer you can build using the two ways. The view layer is built using the view layer. The view layer can be built in two ways, guys. One is a JSP view layer is there. One is a TimeLeaf view layer is there. One is what? JSP. Second one is what? TimeLeaf. TimeLeaf is there. Which view layer you want? You want JSP or TimeLeaf? I'll tell you only one view layer. Either JSP or JSP outdated concept. Because Spring Boot does not support the JSP. Spring Boot dependencies you're adding now. That place JSP is not there. Forcefully, we have to copy from the Maven repository JSP dependencies. We need to place it over the project. But TimeLeaf by default Spring Boot support. What the view layers we have? The JSP and the TimeLeaf. JSP and TimeLeaf we have the view layer. By default, view layer Spring Boot supports what one? JSP and TimeLeaf. TimeLeaf is supported by MVC. Spring Boot MVC supports what? TimeLeaf dependency. JSP means supported, not supported, not supported. If you want means extra, we have to copy the jars from internet. We have to place the jars into the project. That's up to you. If you want JSP, I'll take the JSP. If you want TimeLeaf, is what? You will take the TimeLeaf. Which one you want? Anything is fine because views we will not write. We will copy from the ChatGPT directly. That's what. If you want JSP dependency, I can add it. I can want TimeLeaf dependency, I can add it. Both are what? Same. Both are what? Same. Both are same. Which one you want? You tell me, then I'll write the code. That's it. TimeLeaf you want, then you decided TimeLeaf. Let me go for what? TimeLeaf. Add the dependency TimeLeaf dependency, guys. What dependency, TimeLeaf dependency. See, if you want, just you can check the start.spring.io, start.spring.io website. Spring initializer you can take. The Spring initializer you can click on the dependencies. In the dependency, you please cross check that. Remaining 6 dependencies you know already. Just you can try for the JSP. Can you see the dependency here? No. No, we cannot see the JSP dependency here, right? Exactly. Because view layer JSP is not supported. Spring Boot does not support the JSP view layer. But you can see guys TimeLeaf. Just you can write the TimeLeaf. This is a TimeLeaf. TimeLeaf supported or not supported? Supported. That's what guys, if you want, you can add the TimeLeaf. This is like what a modern server-side Java template engine for both web and what standard environment. That's it, guys. That is a template engine. What engine, guys? Yeah, templates. Templates nothing but views. Templates nothing but view. That's it. So how many view layers? MVC have? 2 view layers. Generally, what are 2 view layers? One is what Spring Boot supports what view layer? TimeLeaf. You want TimeLeaf, please? I'll take the TimeLeaf. JSP remaining same code you can copy paste. Just we need to what? Small URL change. What change? URL change. That's it, guys. That is called MVC, guys. MVC is what? Model view control which combines both view and services. Like logics and views. Logics and views are coupled or decoupled. REST API is what it will do. Then what do you want? REST API is good or MVC is good? Exactly. What is good? REST API is good. MVC is like, the type of, everything is there in a single place. Everything is there in one. It's like BILO kappa type. What type of BILO kappa. It's like kappa, guys. Unprepared faculties mostly discuss MVC only because they know only MVC. They don't know REST API. They don't know how to handle the status codes. They don't know how to handle what. Long back there in the mid-pit, that's what they're discussing only MVC. They said MVC is very important, very important. It is very important. Everything is in the single place. Every request comes to what? Server. Every request comes to what? Server budget increase. Unfortunately, one model is failed, the entire project is failed. That I will differences I will tell you after MVC. Now today is not good. Today MVC is good. Today is what? After completion MVC, I will tell you that MVC is too worst. Why? How much that is worst? I will tell you. Before starting microservices, I will tell you that MVC how much worst in the real time. Then I will start the microservices. But today's MVC is what? Good. Very important classroom. Today is very important. After 1 week, I'll tell you what is the behavior of you. Then we will start what? Next level. Sir, no. Yes, sir. And that is called MVC, guys. That's good, guys. You should be talk like generalized words. You don't by heart the definitions. If you by heart the definitions, if you tell, I can understand that you are reading the definitions, you are by hearting the definition, you are the English knowledge. That's why you talk that term like you done really project. If you really done the project, okay, sir, but a different MVC and construction controller means immediately how it does. MVC contains a model view controller, stands for model view controller, which combines both view layer and the services all are there in the single place. On the view layer, we are using JSP or what? Time leaf. Services, we are writing a logic. So coupling and decoupled or coupled? Coupled. Which is what coupled. So REST API is like we are building the services at backend and we are decoupling the front end and backend. Front end used in the React, backend is used in what? REST APIs. Is the terms I like I'm reading the terms, I'm talking what I done the project. Your sentences also inter panel should be like that. It should not be MVC stands for model view controller. MV means what? Model, V means what? View, C means what? Controller. Here we have the very important projects are done MVC. That is okay, I guess. So MVC is good. So you create what project here? Product project. Contains how many layers? 3 layers. You select the dependencies, what MySQL. I'll work with the MySQL database for this one. Fine. How many dependencies we have here? 7 dependencies you add. View layer, how many view layers we have? 2. What is the JS? Second is the what is Spring Boot default view layer? Correctly, is a default view layer for the Spring Boot. Default view layer for what? Spring Boot. That's a view layer. That's good. So all are okay, fine. The next point you can see, guys, we have every request comes to what layer by default? Why? The rest, what we discussed, the structure is fixed always. The request comes to controller, controller to service, service to repository. Repository contains the predefined methods, custom methods, JPL queries, native SQL queries. These all are same structure. Only extra here what we added. In REST APIs, we build the URLs. That URL is used by front-end people. Oh, URLs are used by what? But here the URLs are there, views also here only. Views also here only, right? Exactly. So who take the request? Who give the response? Controller give the response. Huh? Who will give the response? Controller. Who will take the request? I told, right? They are the what? Fixed people control the entire what? Flow. Yes or no? Controller. Control is very important. Request comes to, response goes to. In MVC, guys, we have the controller, service, and what? Repository. We have the 3 layers like this. Here, the request comes from what? Previously, we are sending the request like front end is sending the request. Front end means what? React. Front end means what? React. Now you have the front end separator. You have the front end separator here itself. Yes. Here itself means here we have the views. What we have views. In REST API, in what controller guys here? REST controller. REST controller, the request is comes from what? Oh, request comes from what? Yeah. చెప్పట్లేదా పని అదే చెప్పండి రియాక్ట్ అంట రియాక్ట్ రిక్వెస్ట్ కమ్స్ ఫ్రమ్ వాట్ రియాక్ట్ ఫ్రంట్ ఎండ్ రియాక్ట్ what a request comes from front end react what request they are giving json object the request comes to what layer controller to service to repository so this is like separate part this is like view is separate and logics are separate so views are separate and what logics are separate that is what REST controller whatever controller views are separate everything is in a single project that's what yes here views are there views to what controller to what oh here I written the big arrow it means what this is separate and this is separate and here I written the big arrow normal direction normal direction means normal means normal everything is what everything is what normal what is normal abnormal normal కూడా వచ్చిందా ఓకే గుడ్ views controllers services repositories everything is there in how many project single project it's like what Bilo cup type cup means what he's thinking that everything is there everything is one cup is thinking what cup is thinking that this is the world this is what world but that is the world outside lot of outside what lot of that is called REST APIs and React and the AWS servers and what clouds we have multiple things out of who are MVC means what they are thinking what everything is there everything is what there everything is there right controller is there service repository use everything is there in the by itself everything is there in what by itself but everything is there or not there not there yeah, that is called view layer views are there in the same project separate project single project in REST controller single project or two different projects are two different project approach this is a two different project approach this is a two different project approach single project approach single project you don't think single project means very simple single project means every request comes to single project it has to handle all the requests at a time one module is down everything is what down yes sir you go to the me server right me server what they are saying they said like every time you go they said server down assume the server down for the electricity bill why don't I pay the property tax why don't I pay the electricity like water bill why don't I pay the PAN card and Aadhaar card charge they said like one service is done all are down file of copy is what by closing everything is closed yes sir but REST APIs one service is failed I'll tell you later okay fine but as of now what MVC is what important MVC is what important two different project approach means REST controller separate and the front end is separate but MVC is what everything is a single should have the idea first okay REST controller means service is there front end React is there but MVC means there is no front end and back end separate everything is what single that's what yes we have the views will send the request to what layer controller to service to exact views will send the request to the controller these views are separate views same project views the same project views will send the request to what layer controller to service to and the same response comes to the same project response comes to what everything is same project but REST API is same project or two different projects back end is what REST API front end is what front end is what that is the same project in MVC the request comes to where request comes to view request see request always come to controller. View is there. View is used to send the request. In the view, you enter the form details, right? Product ID, product name, product price, like that. You send the request to what layer? Request comes to, huh? Who is sending the request to controller layer? Exactly. But in REST APIs, the request comes to what? Yeah. If you have the clarity about that point, so that you can speak very clearly. That's what I'm saying. In REST API's request comes to REST API request comes to what? Request comes to controller. Who's sending the request? Who's sending the request? Who's sending the request? Huh? React or Angular or other API, mobile request. Some other people will send the request to our services. Our services does not contain what? Views. Right? What about controller here? Request comes to what layer? Huh? Who's sending the request? The use of same project. Use of what? Everything is single project. But views are built how many ways? Two ways. One is what? Huh? One is what? Second one is the time. Now we are using what? Right. Exactly. A REST controller, what the REST controller will return to the client? What is the tell me, what is the REST controller return? What the REST controller returns? Returns are a response. Huh? What response? JSON response. Return the response to whom? React. Then the response. Send the response to where? React or mobile application. What is the REST controller returns what? JSON. And here, who is sending the request? Who is sending the response? Who is sending the response, guys? Who is sending the request and who is sending what? A response. Who will send the response? Here also, who send the response? Huh? Controller. Here, what response is sending? JSON. Here, what response is sending? Exactly. Here, the response is sending to back to the views, guys. Control is written the data. What is returning is JSON written the view return done. See guys, you enter the product, product, what we can say, product ID, product name, price you entered, and you save the product in the database. And we have the response. Response is went to browser view. View is what? Success.jsp. Success.jsp. Or success.typeleaf. Yes or no? Yes. It means controller returns what? JSON object, view name. View name. Exactly. So who is saying the response means like controller definitely here. And here what is controller response is what? What is the REST controller? Controller returns what data? Huh? Who take the request? Who give the response? From where they will take the request in the REST APIs? From the REST APIs who send the request? Postman is for what purpose? HTTP purpose. But request generally comes from what? MVC the request comes from? And the clarity ఉంటే first you should have the data like request ఎవడు పంపిస్తాడు ఎవడికి ఎత్తాను ఏం తీసుకుంటున్నాం ఏం ఎత్తాను అవి తెలిస్తే చదువులు వస్తాయి కూర్చొని పోతే ఏముంది REST లో రిక్వెస్ట్ స్టోర్ చేస్తున్నాడు in the REST who is giving the request and who is giving the response, what request he is giving, what response we are giving, what response. In MVC, who is giving the request? Who is giving the request? Use. Use are giving the request to what layer? Controller. Controller giving the response, right? What response they are giving in MVC? They give success view. Data successful now, then they has to give the message of view on. Request comes from view. అరే రిక్వెస్ట్ కమ్ టు అన్నా కమ్స్ ఫ్రమ్ అన్నా ఫ్రమ్ అంటే వచ్చేదే కదా ఎవడెత్తున్నాడనే కదా రిక్వెస్ట్ కమ్స్ ఫ్రమ్ అక్కడ మళ్ళీ నువ్వు డిహైడ్రేట్ అయిన మళ్ళీ ప్రాబ్లం అయింది మాకు Rest request comes from request comes to in rest only. Who give the response? What response it will give? To whom it will give? That is the rest. MVC request comes from? Request comes from? In MVC, we are talking about what? MVC. MVC request comes from? Response given to? Who give the response? What response it will give? The control method will give the response like views, guys. That is a standard in the real time. If you tell that kind of words in the interview, they understand that what. They understand that you are good at what subjects. You are good at what subject. Exactly. That is called rest and what? In MVC, in rest controller, we are using annotation at rest controller. In MVC, we are using annotation at control. At what? At controller, we are using. At what? Controller. In MVC, the request comes from? Request comes from? The request comes from? Tell me guys, the request what? Comes from, the request comes from? Huh? The request comes from? Next. The request comes to? The request comes to? The response is given by? The response is given by? What type of response it will give? Type of the response will send, render. What type of response it will render? That. The same points you write in MVC and same questions you write for what? REST. So that you have the clarity about the process. In REST, the request comes from? Huh? Request comes to, the response is given by what response? MVC, the request comes first. The request comes from? The request comes to controller. The response is given by what type of response it will get? Wait, that's it. Wait, important. చాలా ఏంటి అసలు that is called what? Rest and what? What are the view layers? What technology is in the view layer? JSPR what? JSPR what? That's it. The MVC, I think these are perfect, right? This is enough. Request comes from where the request comes to where the response is given by ఎవరు ఇస్తారు ఏమి ఇస్తారు రిక్వెస్ట్ ఎవరు ఇస్తారు రిక్వెస్ట్ ఎవరు తీసుకుంటారో రెస్పాన్స్ ఎవరు ఇస్తారు ఎవరు తీసుకుంటారు ఏమి ఇస్తారు ఎవరో తీసుకోవచ్చు ఏం కాదు తీసుకొని బట్ యూ షుడ్ గివ్ వాట్ రెస్పాన్స్ వాట్ టైప్ ఆఫ్ రెస్పాన్స్ విల్ వాట్ అండ్ so that is the data guys. That is the MVC. MVC will couple the U plus couple the views plus and what service class 6 we can say what class 6. How many dependencies you should create? What dependencies here? MySQL you add. I will tell you how to do the MySQL and time like that we need to go with that. Hey, today I'll take the classes morning and evening because Monday I will need to work on what exam. So Monday time is taken. That's what Monday class. This is actually Monday class. This is actually Monday class. Tomorrow Monday, Saturday, Tuesday absent last week. You please go to the notes and you discuss it with friends. But don't. That is the data guys. That is you create the project. Hey, today all of you open the MySQL website guys. MySQL download. MySQL MySQL download. If you go for the MySQL download, your website is what MySQL dev.mysql.com. Dev.mysql.com. See guys, dev.mysql.com, then you'll get the website like MySQL guys. This is what MySQL. This is a MySQL website. dev.mysql.com. That is a MySQL guys. Here we can click on what? Downloads. Go for the website guys. Next one is what? Click on what? Downloads. Click on the downloads guys. Once you click on the download, click on what? Downloads. Once you click on the downloads, download now. This is enterprise edition for the developer. Testing can come down, guys. Once if you come down, last you can see like MySQL. What you can say, guys? MySQL Community GPL. Global Public License, something like that. We have the MySQL Community downloads. You click on this one actually. Once if you click on this one, click on what? Click on what? MySQL Community GPL download. You go for the click on that one, guys. Now you can see list of downloads. Once if you see list of downloads, list of what? Downloads. They are going for the MySQL installer for the Windows. Go for the MySQL installer for what? Windows. You click on this. And once if you click on this, MySQL installer for what? Windows. MySQL installer for what? Windows. Let me click on go back and let me copy this one here. MySQL install for what? Windows. Hey, what website you open? Tell me here. Dev.mysql.com. Dev. What? Click on what? Click on what? Downloads. This is what? Click on MySQL JPL download. MySQL. Click on what? All click on. Just you can go for the click on MySQL install and downloads. And then you can select the operating system and select the version. Automatically they are selected. You no worries about that. And you go for what? Directly download this one guys. A first file is MSI installer, which is having the size like which is having what? Which is having the 2 MB file guys. Don't download this one. Very fast it is downloaded. But you download what? 354 MB file. So click on what button guys here? Download. So download the MySQL Windows MSI installer. Both are showing the same, but file sizes you have to check and download this file guys. So download this file. What the file guys here? Windows MSI installer. Yeah, you click on this download button guys, then it started what? Download. Started what? Download. You don't wait again, don't bring the laptop. Huh? Olympic Joy is there. Sir, doubt, sir. Oh, now no doubt, amma. Just you can, sir, you want to log in, sign up. Log in or sign up? Log in or what? Sign up. Run అవసరం లేదమ్మా. If you come down here, that's like no that, just start my download. Start my download. ఈ కూడా చెప్పాలంటే యాడ్ చేద్దాం. Don't bring the Olympic Joy. Sir, login. But the username password sign up for login not required. No thanks. Just start my download. If you click on that one, guys, the download started here. Just you can see the downloaded started the file. So guys, this is the file we have. MySQL installer Community 8.0.43. That's it, guys. The initialization which will take big time. All of you click on the next. Sometimes asking the custom installation or full installation, you make it full. Or you make it what? Make it the full installation like that. Make the full installation, guys. Then just like Oracle, hey, you don't ask anyone to install the software. If anyone is doing installation, what you guys will do? You will do Bhajna Karyakramam. Your laptop, you download it and install it. Fail it, no problem. Again, download, install it, what? Do it. Somewhere in the success right, no problem. Wait for the no, don't give the laptops to others, guys. If you're giving the laptops to others, you are the failure concept. You are not fit. Your laptop, you do it. One time some issues are coming up, no problem. You check what the issues are going on, you try to do the work. Yes or no? That's it. So go for the here also I'll write that point also. But the point is here, no thanks. Such the cool ఏం అదే పేరు 2 నిమిషాలు. ఇప్పుడు చిన్నప్పటి నుంచి అలవాటు అయింది. ఇప్పుడు కరెక్ట్ మార్పు I can understand. So that's right what? No thanks. No thanks, just start download. Things are grind control the pin. Like other మీరు మంచిగా చదువుకుంటూ ఒక ట్రాక్ వెళ్తాడు. ట్రాక్ ఎక్కుతాడు. ఏం పేరు? ట్రాక్ ఎక్కారు. ట్రాక్ ఉంది. బాగా చదువుకుంటూ ట్రాక్ ఎక్కింది. దసరా వచ్చింది. బండి ఏం చేసింది? ట్రాక్ దిగి పక్కకు పోయింది. పక్కకి ఎంత దూరం పోయింది? 10 రోజులు పోయినట్టు. దాదాపు ఆల్మోస్ట్ 600 కిలోమీటర్స్ కొట్టేసింది. మళ్ళీ అది ముందుకు వచ్చి మళ్ళీ ట్రాక్ ఎక్కింది. మళ్ళీ ఏమైతుందా? మళ్ళీ దీపావళి. Again, flight is going what? Rajasthan. Again, flight is going what? Rajasthan. Then, when you will get the job? Track ticket and heading MVC. Heading is what? MVC. First you write that MySQL download. Doing well. Download, install the MySQL. Steps line, write the steps. Externalizing all wall yet not. MVC combines the front end, both front end and what? Back end in single project. The same web application, single unit, simple word. Front end user build using what technologies guys? Using front end user build using what? Technologies like what? JSP, TimeWave. Backend logics are implemented using what? Front end and backend both are separate and combined. Huh? A controller returns what? Views, right? Controller returns the views. And REST controller returns what? Views or JSON body. Return a JSON body, right? That's what is the REST controller equal to. They are writing one message. REST controller equal to what? Controller plus response body. REST controller equal to what? Controller plus response body. Because response body means it returns a JSON object. REST operations return type is JSON object. What are the view layers technologies used in the Spring Boot? JSP and what? And